Welcome back. You're still tuned into Trading Hour. The stock on our radar now is JK Paper. In Q1, it was a weak set of numbers overall, but revenues from operations grew 8% on YOY basis, but EBITDA margin saw contraction. The company aims for a double-digit top-line growth for FY25. To discuss more on the performance and also on demand and pricing trends, we are now joined by A.S. Mehta, the President Director at JK Paper. Mr. Mehta, thank you so much for joining in today. Q1 did see a lot of headwinds. We saw paper prices falling, raw material prices increasing. Has that trend reversed now in Q2? Can you give us a sense of what are the prices for packaging board as well as coated paper, copier paper, and at the same time, are raw material prices soothing off a little bit?
Thank you very much. In fact, the paper prices did not move, and different categories, there was a different trend. Yes, little bit in the packaging board, there was a minor upward movement in the packaging board prices, but is very, very inadequate, I must say. The other writing printing paper prices, in fact, the Maplitho paper prices have further come down. The copier is more or less the same, and the coated paper prices have also further come down. But only thing is that there is some reduction in the global pulp prices. So a minor saving on account of the pulp prices is there. But since mostly all the Indian paper companies are integrated player, so we don't get major advantage of pulp price reduction because we produce our own pulp. Of course, the raw material for our pulp production is the wood, and prices more or less remains the same. There's no reversal, I would say, but there's no increase also because current level also it is unaffordable. Very high raw material cost is already there. So, but there's no reduction, I must say. But the energy cost is for slightly remain, I would say, lower compared to what it was. So overall, this is the scenario.
Mr. Mehta, good morning. Thank you so much for joining in. I'd like to ask you about the volume trends that you have witnessed, because in the fourth quarter, your volumes were down around 2% sequentially. Even in the first quarter, they were down 1% on a sequential basis. What are the trends that you have witnessed so far? We are almost coming to the end of the second quarter. How has business looked like this time around? And since you spoke of prices being constant, do you expect that to remain at similar levels for the rest of the year, at least for the rest of the year as well?
See, I would say that the volume for packaging board, there is a decent growth in the packaging board volume. And this is also on the strength of the new year and festivals and everything coming in. So the packaging board demand is good. Copier demand is fairly stable. I would say shed better than what it was in Q1 because from July onwards, we see all the school, colleges, and they start opening. But the Maplitho, there is some lullness, and there's a normal because the Maplitho and commercial printing, in fact, July to September is a slower season, but thereafter it picks up. So we expect from October onwards, the demand for Maplitho should be a good demand. And packaging board, I would say that till December, it should be good demand. And thereafter also, I would say that it will remain a decent demand period for the packaging board.
Okay. Mr. Mehta, you know the import intensity is very high today. So I just wanted to understand the pricing differential as well between the landed cost and the net selling realization or the NSR on different paper segments. Has that reduced now? Is that where there is some improvement for Indian players?
See, that is one factor. And again, it depends on the different category of a product. Let's talk about the first, the major volume of import is one is the coated paper. And the coated paper, I mean, in the past also, it has been at par with the landed cost of imported coated paper. Yes, domestic player, we get something around 3-4% of a premiumness because our delivery, our service to the customer, and being a local player, we can cater the need so fast. So that advantage we have. So 3 to 4% prices can be higher compared to the landed cost of imported paper. On the copier front, there was a surge of import in the month of August and September. So certainly that has also impacted the prices. Maplito, there is a surge in import, so that is also has, I mean, it is having a bearing on the local prices, and the drop in Maplito prices is predominantly, one is the lullness in the demand, and also top of it, there is a cheaper import or dumping by the players. Packaging board, there was some increase in the import of packaging board. That's again a dumping from China and Chile. So that's impact. So on that matter, we have already gone for an anti-dumping matter on the packaging board. I would say that in coming months also, it will have some bearing on the local prices, and we will have to keep watch on this.
Mr. Mehta, has there been any progress on this anti-dumping bit that you mentioned about this from China and Chile that you spoke of? And since you spoke of that prices likely to remain subdued, what does that do to your margins? Would you expect that to remain where they are currently, say around 23-24%? When do you see that going back to the earlier levels of around, say, 29-30%?
I would say that, see, the dumping petition, what we filed, I am hoping that the investigation will be faster now, because there is an intent of the government to have a faster speed of the investigation. So I think they have already started the investigation. It will take some time, and we will again go meet the safeguard people so that it can be fastened up. So this is on that part. See, when we talk about the margin, I would say that 30% margin, what we have seen, I mean, that's unusual. I would say that for paper industry, long-term average has been something around 21-22% for a good player, and average industry 19-20%. So I would say that even if 22-23% margin is maintained, that's a decent margin, and it gives a healthy return on capital employed. So rest of the year, I don't foresee a major and the surge in the margin. But even if we are able to maintain that margin of something around 22-23%, I would say that that's a good margin.
Okay, all right. We take that point. I had a lot more questions on Sirpur, the Ludhiana facility, but completely out of time on the show today, Mr. Mehta. But it was a pleasure getting you on the show and getting the intricate details of what's happening in the paper industry as well. But with that, it's a wrap on Trading Hour for today. But stay tuned. Halftime Report is up next with all the action.